welcome to my vlog. Today is the first day of the actual vlog. Um, so at the very end of this, we're going to have a small assignment. Sorry, it's coming out a little late, I know. But hey, it's coming out, which is the point. I overslept today, and mostly because today is my birthday, so I slept in. Anyway, it's not only just my birthday, it's also Dodger's birthday. I hope everybody wished her at least a happy birthday. I don't know whether you did or didn't. But anyway, there is something I wanted to discuss today, and it has to do with the assignment that you're going to get for later today. So I don't know. Most people know a lot about anime. We all know that's the Japanese animated shows are called anime. And probably a lot of you also know the fact that Japanese comic book style, Japanese style comic books are called manga, and there's a lot of series that go from are an anime and manga. A lot of times, anime shows start out as manga, and then they are made into animated series because they're so popular. Anyway, there is a third part to this. Sometimes there are some shows in Japan that go with those two, but they don't quite fit exactly. Well, it's kind of hard to explain. They do fit into those and make up kind of a trilogy of Japanese style television shows for the family. Japanese entertainment for the family. And the third part is called Tokusatsu, which is Japanese live action series. Basically, we all kind of really know what this is. We know what this is, but we don't. It's not something that's discussed what Tokusatsu is because we don't really talk about Tokusatsu itself. But we do know, everybody knows at least one Tokusatsu series, and that, of course, probably a lot more than one. I'm sure we know a whole lot of them, but we just don't really, because quite a few of them have entered American television and American, and really American, I wouldn't say history, but anyway, one of the big ones that we all know and probably have had experience with, although probably younger people haven't. Oh, there goes Colt. Anyway, so one of them is, of course, Godzilla. Godzilla himself is one of the oldest Japanese live-action series. It's cheesy monster costumes. You have low-budget effects and such, and that's mostly because of the time it was made. At the time that was going on, Tokusatsu was kind of young and with Japanese television, and so effects weren't wonderful, and it was kind of one of the first of the few of those series to really make it over to the U.S. And when it did, it was not very well. It was one of the few times in American history, in the history of Tokusatsu in America, that it actually wasn't. In which basically it was really the only one where the footage tended to be kept, and so they did what's called dubbing, where they use other voice actors and they basically redo the voices for it, which is one of the reasons why, if you ever watch one of those old Godzilla movies or television series or one of the old Godzilla things, that a lot of the times the people talk weird and their mouths move kind of funny. It's because that's one of the effects of dubbing on live action, is that, let's face it, it's not like anime. It's not like you can just touch up the mouths and get them to work or figure out some way to make the voices voice kind of work with it. It doesn't work so well in live action because we speak a certain way and you see our lips move, and which is of course is one of the reasons, which of course this is one reason why when I watch tokusatsu of any kind, I always like to have it in the original Japanese, and it has to be subtitled because subtitles work a lot better, because then at least it's like a lot of things that are made in other countries. I really kind of prefer to see the original actors' voices and their original language, because sometimes there's some subtleties in the languages that you just don't pick up. And with subtitles, because I already have to have a lot of times have to have subtitles anyway because of being hearing impaired. It's just kind of like an extra little fun thing. Anyway, so and that's that. Of course, yeah, and so yeah, the one of the biggest first ones, of course, Godzilla. Now, there's another one that's extreme. That, like I said, it was at one time extremely popular, and it's also from Japanese, and it's also Tokusatsu, and that is known here as Power Rangers. Now, yeah, let's just put it this way: comparing Power Rangers to Tokusatsu unfortunately, it's kind of an insult, because first of all, the acting is pretty bad a lot of times for the American parts, and then number two, they butcher up the Japanese series to usually add the footages. So a lot of times, and not only that, but then on top of it, a lot of times they not only that, but they reshot like things from the Japanese series, or did different things. Now, of course, I do have to mention, now that I have said it, I do have a beef about one of the newest ones, because this is something that happened in the original Power Rangers, and that is that they do keep a lot of the Japanese names on stuff. And so the problem is that, for instance, in the latest one they're doing, Power Rangers Mega Force, which is in Japan. It's taking two series from Japan and meshing them together, because it's just like the last time that Nickelodeon had done it. They're having the last two kind of series they did in Japan was titled, let's see, Power Rangers Samurai, and then Power Rangers Super Samurai. Well, Megaforce is getting the same deal. It's going from Power Rangers Megaforce to Power Rangers Super Megaforce. Now, they're using footage from two different series in it, which is a really, I'm sorry, but it's kind of really bad one. The first one is, what was it? Tokemi Sentai Goseiger, yeah. Goseiger the Goseiger series is what is being used for part 1 in it, and it's basically, in Japan, it's a series about angels from another world, who their world is connected to ours through a tower called the Tower of Heaven. It appears in our sky upside down. It's kind of like an upside down version of the Tower of Babel. It reaches down into our world. And basically what happens is that in their world there are three tribes. There's the Atlantic tribe, which represents, of course, things of the earth. There's a Siak tribe, which represents those things of the sea. And then there's a third tribe, which is the Skyke, which represents the things of the sky. And basically, in the Japanese series anyway, it's about environment. It's a lot about environmentalism, and it's not the first one. Quite a few of the latest series have actually had, the latest of Sentai series lately have actually had a theme of, saving the environment, saving the world at the same time. And this one, of course, is really kind of good. It's got 3 arcs in it, which lead to the end arc, and it's got a lot of really interesting things along the way. The first group that you encounter that is in the series. Well, actually, I really shouldn't spoil it for you guys if you really want to check it out, because it's really, really interesting, and it's a very interesting series. The problem is the U.S. version of it is really, really bad, um, especially with Nickelodeon. From what I've read online, Nickelodeon has a really bad rep right now because they do a lot of really, really bad things with their television series. Supposedly, they limit the number of episodes now to like 30 in a season, and if you want more than that, you have to have a new season, which was part of the reason why, for instance, like the last um, why the last Power Rangers series, they broke it up into two, was because of the Shinkenger, which of course gets its name from the sound of a drawing sword. Um, when they made the U.S. version of it, they did that so they could have more episodes, because now it's back in the hands of the original people who were in charge of it, and Saban finally has it back in its hands. It bought it from Disney because I guess Disney decided they didn't want it anymore and was gonna trash it, and he bought it up kind of cheap. So now he's doing it again. The problem is Nickelodeon's kind of there was I really wish it had shown up somewhere else, like Cartoon Network, or maybe like ABC Family or something else, because it just is, the quality is horrible on Nickelodeon. I've seen a couple episodes of the latest one, which it's just like the Gosager part right now is just so disappointing, and then the next part, when they do the Super Megaforce, is going to be on another series based off of the next series in the line of Sentai stuff, which basically it's a pirate themed one, and it's about, basically what it is, it's a special anniversary show. It shows all of the past 34 groups of basically the story is that the past 34 groups of Super Sentai teams have all, in this storyline, all exist on the same planet. And it, now keep in mind that in the other series that they do not, that these all exist in separate worlds, and they all have their own storyline. They also have in the Sentai series, they also happen to have crossovers of like one, every generation has two crossovers. They have a crossover with the series before it, and they have a crossover with the series after it. So they get two crossovers, except for, of course, the first one only had one crossover, and it had crossover with the next one. In the line, if you ever see Gokaiger online, which I think I'm pronouncing it a little long. Yeah, it's Gokaiger. Gokaiger, I think. No, yeah, it's Gokaiger. Anyways, basically Gokaiger is, like I said, it's, the Gokaigers have the ability to transform into any of the past Sentai teams, anyone on any team they can use, because basically all of the old Sentai teams' powers of everybody has been transformed into keys, and as it turns out, it's not just the main characters. A lot of the companions and extra people have had their keys too. Although the thing is, it's like they don't count any of the ones that kind of are created just for like a movie or something. They're not in any of them, which is kind of disappointing. So basically, I think there's 200 keys, I think they said, which includes, I think that number included the keys of the actual original group. And Gokaiger's trying to, basically, it's about 5 pirates who are trying to find the ultimate treasure of the universe, and just so happens to exist on Earth. And they basically find out that they're basically on Earth trying to find it, and then of course the whole Sentai series takes place on Earth, and them dealing with finding that treasure and what they have to do to get the treasure, and at the same time dealing with the enemy of the series, who just so happens to be an empire from space, deep, far away, who's been destroying a lot of other planets, which is kind of typical for a lot of the series. Is that there's villains, they're coming from space, and they've destroyed countless worlds, and now they're going to destroy Earth, and which is ironic because Power Rangers have that too, but that is kind of part of the theme of the Japanese series a lot of times. Although it's not always. Sometimes it's other, like for instance in Shinkenger, the enemies are actually from our world. They're from it's kind of hard to explain because it comes from Japanese legend, and there's basically a world that exists parallel to us, which exists in the shade. It's kind of like a shade dimension, and basically that's where they came from. But there's like like I said, there's right now. Let's see. 35 was that one. 36. Okay, yeah, they're right now on series number 37 for them, and it's kind of interesting. You can find a lot of the footage online. I know I have found at times, even like the original series. Really, if you want a good overview of all the series, the best way to do it is to watch Gokaiger. Now, in the links to this description, I'm going to give everybody a website which I go to, which does dubbing for a lot of the series. They've done dubbing for probably like the last 10. Yeah, I think it's at least the last 10. They've got some other older ones which they're still working on finishing up the dubbing for. Other ones they've been redubbing stuff they already had and putting it into like HD, so it's really good quality and stuff. And I'll give you the link below. When you watch this, you'll see in the description a little bit about the website. It's a really good site. I just don't really want to say too much and get them too mad. And please don't break their website. I really don't want to be responsible for that because I really love that. I really love their website. But if you really enjoy it, you're gonna do it. You can donate to them and stuff like that. They do free fan subs of all of a whole bunch of live action series, and for instance like movies and stuff like that over there. Of course, Power Rangers, stuff that goes into Power Rangers is only part of it. Some of the other stuff that's come out here that is also part of Tokusatsu is, for instance, Ultraman has been on US TV. I know there was one when I was younger, but I never really saw it. There's also was Ultraman Tiga was on Fox. I think it was Fox. Was on one of the channels. It was basically a dubbed version, and it's the original stock footage is dubbed, just like in that Ultraman version. Also, for instance, there was a show called VR Troopers, which, by the way, there is some interesting fact about VR Troopers. I actually went to school in the same city as one of the characters. See, the thing is, and this is another one of the things about where Americans have butchered a Japanese Tokusatsu series, is VR Troopers is actually two separate series, and they're from the Metal Heroes one. One of them is Space Sheriff Spielbahn. I think Spielbahn was it. But yeah, there's a couple, at least, I think it was at least two different series in the Metal Heroes series that were kind of matched together, and then they created VR Troopers out of it. And it's like, but it's not really supposed to be set in the virtual reality. It's actually a series about I know the Space Syrup one is actually a series about it's about criminals and from outer space, kind of trying to invade the world, and of course, always in these series, it's always they seem to focus on Japan, despite the fact that they're said that they're attacking the whole world, but all you ever see of the world well, I mean, the later ones, more of the later Tokusatsu series have actually shown some stuff from around the world, just basically in general. Um, but they always end up being focused then on Japan, because of course that's where the series takes place. So it's always kind of funny to see that when it's like, you know, oh, they're invading the whole world, but it seems they're always focused on Japan. So it's kind of weird. It's like that's not really the whole world. But yeah, it's like yeah, you show the whole world in like one episode, and then after that they just worry about Japan and ignore the rest of the world, where you would think, well, if the heroes are always in Japan, why don't we attack like Great Britain or China or Australia? Let's go somewhere else to attack. But apparently they don't, which is kind of funny. But anyway, I know this is gonna get really long. But anyway, so I'm trying to discuss, trying to kind of give a bridge towards the assignment for today. I'll try to wrap this up so it doesn't end up being 30 minutes. Let's see. So I did 3 Hour Troopers. They're the Big Bad Beetleborgs is also one of the Metal Hero series. It was from each season was a different series. The first one was what was it? Beef Fighter, I think was how it was pronounced. But it's basically Beef Fighter is what both of the series are. The first Beef Fighter one is just like is the first season, and then the second season is what Beef Fighter what was it? Beef Fighter. Anyway, I can't remember what the part is. It was a different Beef Fighter, and it was basically the same theme. It's in Japan. It's the same theme of bugs protecting the world, and so some power suits made from metal are used by human beings to defend the world from really basically cheesy costume villains, which is the theme of Tokusatsu. A lot of the villains have very, very cheesy costumes. It's like nobody in their right mind would ever wear them, but they're used. I mean, it's kind of weird because like some of the costumes, you'll have a person with a head and their mouth will never move, and then you have the ones, even if they have just like a painted mouth, they just have a painted mouth and it never moves, they never eat or anything. But then you have other ones that they have moving mouths, and it's kind of like, okay, why did you make this one have a moving mouth and all these other ones, it's like they either don't have a mouth and you're like, okay, how do they eat or anything, but it's usually implied that their nourishment is human suffering, and that's where a lot of it is. I mean, most of the series that is where they draw their power from, their energies from human suffering. Usually, that's a theme for all the Tokusatsu, even no matter which one it is. Let's see, I did those. Kamen Rider came a couple times. The original Kamen Rider stuff was from Kamen Rider RX and RX Black, or maybe was it Kamen Rider RX or RX Black? One of those two. Basically, Kamen Rider is in Japan is just basically the theme that weaves through all of them is that these are heroes that have motorcycles, and the motorcycles, which is where the name Kamen Rider comes from, because it literally translates as Masked Rider. And now Masked Rider did have a series here, which of course, like I said, it was from, in Japan it was Kamen Rider RX was the Kamen Rider. It was, if I remember right, it was the only time, I think it was the only time, if I remember right, where the same hero was used twice for 2 series, but I could be wrong because I think some of the earlier ones too that they did. But it was one of the last of the first era of what they call Kamen Riders, and then they were redone with another group. Um, then there was a break between that, the original few, and then the latest ones that are being made. They're still being made every year. Um, Basically, the way that they have it right now. Originally, what was happening is every year there would be a Kamen Rider series, and there would be a Super Sentai series, and they're both made by the same company. And they would begin at the same time of the year, and they would end at the same time of the year, and they would all have about like 50 plus, around 50 episodes is a standard season for them. Or what? Well, it's a standard series for them because really they restart again, and you have a new series with a new hero and a new story and new villains and everything. Um, but what happened was, after 10 of these latest riders, um, after they rebooted the series after 10 series, they came up with a Kamen Rider called Kamen Rider Decade, who was able to transform into the past 10 riders. He had to earn. He has basically ends up earning the powers which he originally had but lost, and there's this huge storyline. It only goes over like 30 something episodes, and it was done in half a year. Yeah, it was only like 20 or 30 episodes, and it was half a year. And basically after that, they've now have it staggered, which basically the Super Sentai series in Japan, they start in around the Chinese New Year, and they end that following year. Whereas the Kamen Rider series usually begin in the summer. Yeah, they begin in the summer, um, or they begin in the fall, kind of like just after summer. They begin a new series, and it goes until the beginning of the next summer, and then we have the ending of the series and everything, and they're about the same length of 50 something. They're really kind of cool. There's always a main rider. It's more focused on a single character, whereas Super Sentai is focused on at least on a group. Kamen Rider is focused on a single hero. Most Tokusatsu actually does have more than one hero, although there is one, but it's pretty. There is a really, really raunchy one. That the first series that they made. It's another one based off of Japanese language. It's about one of their spirits, Earth spirits, basically dealing with defending humanity from evil. But yeah, it's probably best that if you're gonna get curious about these, it's like discover that one on your own because it's a little perverted. Sometimes also, there's been other live action series in Japan. Like they had a live action version of like Spider-Man, and other like superheroes from America have sometimes had their own live action series. There's also been there's a lot of different ones. Like I said, probably the best bet is to go to the website that I'm talking about, and you can kind of look at the different stuff. They have a little bit of anime there still. I think they still have up their stuff for basically what they do is they have torrents for different series, and you can just go there, get the torrent, and download it. And they have a lot of really great series, like I said. There's that, and there's a whole lot of other stuff there. There's some Transformers stuff as well, and other stuff, and you really should check it out. Yeah, I didn't really want this video to go this long, but it kind of has. So it's almost half an hour now. So I'm going to try and wrap this up, because let's see, I've done almost everything that's here, because yeah, Kamen Rider and Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, which came from one of the newer Kamen Rider series, which it's just kind of sad. It was actually pretty good. The people who did the American version of the Kamen Rider series, for that one, um, had tried to stay about as close to as they could, and they did a pretty good job. I mean, it wasn't perfect. They still had to Americanize it, and it had a cheesy ending and everything, but it was pretty good. And I haven't seen all the episodes, but I saw most of them while they were on TV. It was just kind of unfortunate that we didn't get to get another Kamen Rider series picked up though after that one. It's kind of sad because there are a lot of good ones in that, and starting with the latest ones because I'm starting with Kamen Rider Agito. Um, there's like I think it was what was it Kuga. That's right. Starting with Kamen Rider Kuga, there's a whole second set of heroes because there's Kamen Rider. The original show was called Kamen Rider, and had a Kamen Rider 1 and Kamen Rider 2, if I remember right. And yada yada. They do a new series. They had all these series and stuff, and different kind of riders and stuff. And then, like I said, they stopped after RX Black. I think was the last of that run series, and then of course went over 30 minutes. But oh well, it's just shows how I'm passionate about it that I can talk about it this much. But I just wanted to share with you because basically today's assignment is about watching a tokusatsu. In fact, it's a tokusatsu of an anime. Sometimes that does happen. Like Prince of Tennis has a live-action version. But what I decided what I was going to do, because I was thinking, was I going to have you look at, for instance, Kamen Rider Decade, which is a way to kind of look at some of the other Kamen Rider series and might be able to spark your interest, although some people claim it's not considered a really good series, partially because it's really short and partially because the fact that if you watch the other series, I think it's probably better if you watch that series first with Kamen Rider Decade because it gives you an introduction, at least a look at some of the other series, and then you can go and see the other series. And the fact is, the matter is that in Kamen Rider Decade, every one of the stories isn't the exact story that the old ones is. It's actually kind of like it's an alternate universe version of it. And because the whole series of Kamen Rider Decade does explore the idea of alternate universes and going from alternate universe to alternate universe and dealing with the differences in those universes, kind of, and how to be a hero. That is also a very big thing in a lot of like tokusatsu is what does it mean to be a hero. But anyway, yeah, this is getting a little long. And anyway, probably almost everybody knows Sailor Moon. It's a very, very famous anime series and manga. And basically, oh god, what year was it? I'm trying to think about what year it was. But anyway, probably about 10 years ago now or so. Basically, after Sailor Moon the series had ended, there was a lot of talk. They did a lot of stage shows and stuff. And what ended up happening is that the company that does Toei, which does Kamen Rider and the Kamen Rider series and the Super Sentai series, decided to make a series based off of Sailor Moon. Now, the live-action series is very similar to the first Sailor Moon series. It deals with the same enemies and stuff, but it's all live action, and it deals with a lot of the same plot elements and stuff, even a lot of the same monsters, but a lot of them are done in like kind of really low budget CGI and such, but it's a really great series to watch. Basically what my assignment to you guys is to watch the very first 3 episodes of it. You can download them fairly quickly on most connections, or at least on mine, so hopefully you're not in dial-up when you're watching it. But go to the website they have. They have a series called Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon, but it's a live-action version of it, and it's something that hasn't come out here at all, but they have a subtitled version of it. Now, they originally had it. The thing is, they got a hold of DVDs for better quality episodes, so they've been redoing the episodes they have. So I'm only asking you the first three because the first three deal with the. If I think it's only the first. It's the first three. Okay, let's put it this way. Watch episodes until you have met the first three Sailor Scouts. When that is over, then stop, because that's as far as it is. I'm pretty sure that's the first three episodes are the ones that introduce each of the Sailor Scouts. They don't have because of course this is not an animated version. Their transformations are a little different than the actual animated versions. I don't know if they're like the manga because I haven't really read the manga yet. I haven't gotten a hold of the newer translations of them. I think it was because it's kind of like the first three episodes of the first three books of the manga. I think, if I remember right, is what it parallels. But basically, or something like that. Anyway, basically watch that. It'll show the first three. Of course, all five of the original ones are in the series. The series also has some other interesting stuff. But I just wanted you to at least, this assignment is more to get you in touch with what Tokusatsu really is, to see what the original Japanese is like, and to basically go and watch it and enjoy. So that's basically the assignment for today, and we're running really late. I didn't really plan. I had only planned to do maybe like 15 minutes. I've done over double that just for this one. I thought maybe 15 to 20 would be my target number. I got a little carried away. I know. I was trying to introduce you guys to basically what this is all about, so it got a little long. But my YouTube channel can hold it, and just think that you get a little extra for this video. So anyway, your assignment for the video that's going to come out tonight, I'm going to do another video tonight and post it. This one's about to go up, will probably be up as soon as I'm done here. I'm going to upload it right, and so as soon as it's done uploading, you'll be able to see it. I don't tend to edit my stuff because this is just me being raw and unedited, which I'd rather you see this stuff raw and unedited. I'm not really one to fiddle with it and everything. I think if I can't portray it in one take, then it's just, I'm not doing my job right. No. I don't tend to need second takes. So, like I said, go to this website, which will be down here. There'll be a website in the description. Go down to it. Go to the website. Go under the torrent section. There should be a link to there'll be all different kinds of stuff. You can download you can get torrents for whatever you want. Feel free to look at the other sites and kind of explore the other stuff, because I will probably have other assignments where I will ask you to watch other things. It's just because Sailor Moon is so well known, I figured that would be a great first assignment, is to kind of watch that, and then I can kind of discuss it with you, talk to it with you guys, and you'll know, oh, that's what you're talking about. So it's not like there was a Sailor Moon live action series. It's like, when did that happen? I don't remember that. Of course, that's because it never came here to the U.S., but it was in Japan, and super popular too, from what I remember. But anyway, at least I think it's just the first three episodes. Watch those three, and then tonight I'm going to talk a little bit about it. That way, at least you have some idea what in the world I'm talking about for this next one, and it won't take so long, because it'll just be, because tonight's vlog will just be about the Sailor Moon live action, and we'll focus on the first three. That way, you have some kind of assignment and know what in the world we're talking about. So I'm gonna have to sign off because this is getting way too long. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and if you enjoyed it, feel free to comment. If you didn't like it, feel free to comment. if you did like it, please subscribe and like, and let's have some more fun tomorrow. We'll have another one tonight and tomorrow. And just as a reminder, today is my birthday, but it is also the birthday of Dodger Lee, who is quite famous on the YouTube. So, wish her a happy birthday if you haven't yet. If you're watching this like in the future, just unless it's August 6th, don't wish her a happy birthday, because that would seem kind of weird and awkward, and she'd be like, why am I getting a happy birthday wish in like December or something? It's not my birthday. Anyway, so here we go, and hope to see you guys tonight, and hope you do your assignments and watch this. And of course, anybody who's watching this later on, after August 6th of 2013, what I would suggest to you for watching these episodes is to watch the episode, and then do the assignment, and then watch the next part of the assignment, because then otherwise it might be a little confusing otherwise. Anyway, so I'm going to sign out, and hope you guys have a nice day, and do all the social stuff, do all the likes and everything, all the YouTube stuff, and we'll see you tomorrow, and we'll see how this goes. I kind of like doing this series. Just before I go, just saying that I really like this series. I'm going to do it regardless of whether anybody ever watches it or not. So here we go, and let's hope that it becomes something at least semi-big, so I can do some really nice things for you guys who actually watch it, because I do this for you guys. Okay, well, see you later today. Bye.